This is a probable cause conference for a gas station clerk who is accused of homicide involuntary manslaughter. In the early morning hours of May 6, 2023, Samuel Anthony McCray, 27, entered a gas station to purchase candy. When the transaction for $3.80 was declined, McCray became irate. He is accused of killing one man and wounding two others. During the incident, the gas station clerk, Al-Hassan Ayash, allegedly locks the station door to prevent McCray and the other customers from leaving. The other customers asked for the doors to be unlocked so they could leave. The clerk doesn't unlock the doors. When the incident escalates, the customers become victims to gun violence. The gas station clerk isn't injured during this incident. The prosecution argues the clerk, in addition to the shooter, is responsible for homicide and the injuries to the victims as he failed to unlock the gas station doors. The prosecutor shows the videos from within the gas station as the incident occurred, as well as the 911 audio. Viewer discretion is advised.
One homicide, involuntary manslaughter. Appearances for the record, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Ryan Elsey, appearing for the people. My P number is 81329.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Ben Jonathan. I represent Mr. McCollum.
Tell me your name for the record, sir.
Your Honor.
There's a date time set for preliminary examination. Are we ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
How many witnesses will be?
Your Honor, I believe that with the stipulations that we have, I will be presenting 3 witnesses.
Okay. Do you have any preliminary matters before we review the witness?
Yes, Your Honor. 2 matters, people. One is that I would offer for admission what's been marked as people's proposed exhibit 1. It's a medical examiner report. I believe we have a stipulation of that being permitted at this time.
So stipulated for exam purposes only?
Yes.
Court receives that stipulation.
Thank you, Your Honor. And just to publish in brief and relevant parts, the medical examiner's report indicates that the Wayne County Medical Examiner's Office performed an autopsy on Gregory Kelly on May 7th, 2023. The report describes 9 gunshot wounds.
Sorry. The report describes 9 gunshot wounds.
9 gunshot wounds inflicted on Mr. Kelly, including to the chest, 2, back 3, abdomen 2, left arm 1, left buttock 1. And it indicates that it is the opinion of the medical examiner that the cause of death is multiple gunshot wounds, the manner of death is homicide. And Your Honor, additionally, pursuant to a stipulation, I would offer what's been marked as people's proposed exhibit 2. It's a disc containing several videos depicting the incident in this case. One video is a compilation video prepared by Sergeant Stephen Ford, who extracted the video from the location and created a compilation of incident from camera points at different relevant times. And then 2 of the videos on there on the disc show the incident from behind the counter where the defendant was situated. We have a stipulation of that.
So stipulated? That's correct. Court receives those stipulations as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Call your witness.
Your Honor, I would propose that before calling the witness, I publish the video. That's what we should report.
All right.
To Judge, just as a preliminary matter, I would ask the court to disable the chat function.
Why?
Because I think it's inappropriate to have viewers comment about the case.
I'm going to send you comments. Comment to who? To each other?
To each other for the court to see as it's watching.
I'm not watching comments. I'm listening to you guys.
Well, I've watched, I hope that's the case, and I would expect that to be the case. But I'm just saying, in prior cases, I've seen the court respond to viewers.
I'm sorry. Ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do we have a stipulation to the identity of the
Your Honor, one of the eyewitnesses is going to be identifying the decedent.
Right.
Your Honor, so
I'm sorry. This is what-
one of the eyewitnesses will be identifying the decedent. Your Honor, with that, I'm going to publish what's been entered as People's Exhibit 2. May I have permission to share my screen?
I know. It's 50 cents. Very trouble. Damn. I thought they were, damn. Y'all, I know. I thought they was 50 cents. Me 25 cents. Y'all want. Give me one. Oh, we good to go. Just give me one. We good. Come on. All right. So how much is these right here? No, not even 35. So yeah. I'll get six. I'm gonna get this. Get two more. Hey, you charge me 6 cents, didn't you? Man, listen. You making it hard. You making it stupid. What? Listen. Bro, how much you owe you? Don't worry about it. He acting stupid as fuck right now. How much is this? How much is this? Right, and I just grabbed some candy, I told you. I was grabbing one, and I put this back, and I grabbed two. I'm getting two, bro. 30 cents. There you go. I've been ready. My fucking car is stuck in there. It's stuck in there. It's already in there. Thank you. He's stupid, man. Nobody sleeping. Who don't know how to come? 5 cents different. It is. It's 35 cents. I took 2 of these. It's 15. Stop acting stupid. Stop acting stupid before I act around and fuck the store up. Me? I'll kill you. Come on. Come on here and get your brains on the floor. Shut up. Shut up, Bob. Put your brains on the floor. And I take this shit. Fuck it, bro. I will. Come touch me. Take it. Come touch me. You ain't getting shit. Come touch me. I'm taking it. I'm taking it. Come touch me. I'm taking it on a lot. On a lot. The phone off the holler. Take it. Come on here. I'm gonna leave your brains on this floor. Nigga. Stop talking tough. Come from me. Come here, bro. I'm out the stove. go to work. I gotta go to work, man. I just paid. I did. How? I have to put my car in. Man, you can't lock up. You didn't put it up in the crazy. No, man, you tripping. You ain't got it right. Bro, you on some bullshit. Hey, bro. You was up on my bro. I just came in here. Bro, you was about to do that. Damn, man. Bro, you not gonna hold me no gas station, bro. Man, you're some bullshit, bro. You ain't gonna be jumping with nobody, nigga. Hey, man, you can't do that, bro. You can't. Let me out the store, you kidnap me. You ready to get killed. Let me out the store. Okay, you tripping, bro. I just tried to have you pay for it. I'm not going with him, man. My boss got to work. Yeah, bro. Stop, but yeah. I don't give a fuck about it. Bro, I don't give a fuck about it. Let me the fuck out, nigga. You don't know that. I'm gonna give you a blood, bro. Hold on. Look at me. I'm gonna give you a blood, bro. Niggas killed my brother, bro. Niggas killed my brother because of you, bro. Bro, oh my God, bro. I'm bleeding. Unlock the door. Unlock the door. I'm shot in the back, bro. I'm shot in the back, bro. My brother is dead, bro. Bro, you niggas just killed my brother, bro. Bro.
Your Honor, I'm going to start another stop video. Let me just 30 seconds. Publish. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop the video at 11 minutes and 30 seconds, and then publishing the remaining files contained on Exhibit 2. And just for the record, I'm going to begin publishing another file, Exhibit 2. File name starts with D7 and it ends with the numbers 552. Going to begin playing the video. Timestamp reflected on the video of 3:01 seconds.
How much it was? $3 was one that hit you with the 3 under 5. It just be popping up, it does that automatically. He has it set up in the system. Be like, please. You want 4 of those? Hold up. You want 4 of them? Might as well. It gotta be over 5. No, it's 35 cents, bro. I didn't charge you nothing yet. I'm saying under $5.50. I got you. You gonna do the part now? So how much is these, right? 16. Nigga, you still want the now later? Two more those are that. Bro, I didn't charge you nothing here, bro. What are you trying to get, bro? Bro, you're not gonna finish this transaction, bro. I'm gonna take care of these customers, bro. Bro, don't worry about it. He acting stupid as fuck, right? Bro, you're being slow right now. You're saying $3. Right, and I just brought the candy I told you. And I'm asking you, how many candies do you have, bro? Now grab 2. Bro, how many candies do you want, bro? I gave you 2, bro. 36. There you go. Alright, are you ready, bro? You're ready. My fucking car's stuck in there. Alright, go ahead, bro. It's stuck in there. It's already in there. Put the pin in. Thank you. No, bro, you don't know how to count, bro. You don't know how to count. You, bro. 5 cents difference. There ain't no 5 cents difference. No, we got a bad man. We got a bad man. We got a bad man. No, I ain't worried about you. Me? I ain't worried about you. I don't give a fuck. So if I come out there and bad pin, put your fucking pin in, bro. Put your fucking pin in, bro. What is wrong with you? You ain't taking shit. I can lock you in this bitch. you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? I'm taking it. Dumbass, you ain't taking shit. Now you try to wait for him or you could drop this shit. You ain't taking shit. You ain't taking shit. Bro, I'll smoke your goofy ass. I'll smoke your goofy ass. Drop my shit, bro. Ain't nobody worried about your bitch.
And Your Honor, that particular file has concluded, and I'm now going to publish the final file on Exhibit 2, which picks up that one, leaves off the final file. This would record starts with D7 and ends with number 724.
Yes, bro. You soft as fuck. Put my shit back. You ain't taking it. Put my shit back. Put my shit back. Put my shit back, bro. You ain't going nowhere, bro. You ain't going nowhere. Put my shit back. I'm gonna give you a chance, bro. Bro, I'm gonna give you a chance. Put my shit back. Put my shit back. Put my shit back, bro. Put my shit back, bro. Bro, put my shit back. Yo, shit declined, bro. Yo, shit declined, bro. Put my shit back, bro. Ain't nobody kidnapping shit. So they watching it. They watching it. They watching it. It's straight. You ain't paid for shit. It's still up there, goofy. It's still up here, bro. Yeah, it is 12800 West McNichols. Hey, bro. You a double. Hey, I just can't. Hey, man. Hey, man. I got wars, nigga. Let's open the motherfucking door. Hold my shit back. Put it back, bro. Put it back. Put it in. Nobody's paying. Put it in, bro. Put my stuff back. Put my stuff back, bro. Put my stuff back. That's it. Tell them put my stuff back. Oh, they're pulling up. Put my stuff back. Put my stuff back. Kick it, bro. They're watching you on the camera. They got your place. They got your place. Bro, put the shit back. It declined. You ain't want to pay. Bro, put the shit back. Put the shit back. Bro, do you want it or not? Put that. Bro, put my shit back or pay for it. Put my shit back or pay for it. I just tried to hate you. Bro, your problem with her. What? Niggas killed my brother, bro. Niggas killed my brother because of you, bro. Yeah, somebody got shot 12,800 West Nichols. A customer got shot. Another customer. The door's unlocked. The door's unlocked. The door's unlocked, bro. The door's unlocked. No, he ran off. No, he's on the ground. Yes, he's in the gas station on the floor. He got shot. Send him. We need somebody. I don't know how old he is. We need somebody ASAP. They're trying to lift him up. Like 30. No, he's gotta wait. His people are trying to help him up. I don't know. I'm not outside. I can't go outside. I can't leave behind the counter. Someone is trying to help him up. Get your ass here! Come here! Come here! Nigga, come here! Come here! Come here! Come here! Come here, nigga! Huh? Nigga! Nigga! Cops are here. The cops are here. He left. He left. He left. He left.
And Your Honor, I'm going to stop the video at a timestamp of 0 to 3 hours, 13 minutes, and 30 seconds. And at this time, people are prepared to call Anthony Bowden as our first witness.
Okay.
Sir, could you please state and spell your first and last name for the record?
Anthony, Anthony, Bowden, Bowden.
And sir, I want to take you back to May 6th of this year. Early that morning, did you happen to be at the location of 12800 West McNichols?
Yes, sir.
And is that in the city of Detroit, the county of Wayne?
Yes, sir.
And sir, what is at that location?
Gas station.
Okay, and what brought you to that gas station on that particular morning?
I had to have money took off of my card, so I went to the ATM at the gas station.
Okay, and when you went to the ATM, did you have to go inside the store?
Yes, sir.
And when you went inside, did you go in alone or were you with anybody else?
When I went inside, I was alone.
Okay, and when you went inside of the store, did you happen to notice whether anyone else was inside the store?
Yes,
Okay, and what did you do when you went inside the store?
actually, I went straight to the ATM machine when I went inside the store. After I retrieved the money out of the ATM machine, I went directly back to leave the store, but the door was locked.
Okay, and between the time that you went into the store and then tried to leave and noticed the door was locked, did you notice anything happening inside the store?
Yes, I noticed the customer having an argument or confrontation, or whatever you call it, with the clerk.
Okay, now before you noticed that the door was locked, were you paying any attention to that particular argument that was happening?
No, sir.
Okay, now after you noticed the door was locked, what did you do at that point?
Well, once I noticed the door was locked, I told the clerk that I need to go to work, so he need to let me out of the store.
Okay, and were you let out of the store?
No, sir.
At what point in time were you eventually let out of the store? Do you
I
remember?
was let out of the store after um, the guy that started shooting shot everybody.
Okay. And when is the very first point in time that you came to know that the door was unlocked? Was it before the shooting or after the shooting?
It was after the shooting.
Okay. And before the shooting happened, did you pay attention to any words that were being exchanged by anyone in the store?
Well, some of the words I remember, but not all of them. I just briefly realized that it was an argument going on.
Okay.
That was it.
And do you recall anything in particular, if anything, that the store clerk might have said while you were in there?
The store clerk was just constantly telling another customer that he's not getting nothing. And because the customer was obviously wanting clerk to give him something. I don't know what it was, but he was like, "You're going to give me this," and stuff like that.
Okay, when you say the customer, are you referring to the individual that eventually became the shooter?
Yes.
Okay, and when it comes to that individual, the eventual shooter, do you remember anything in particular that he said during this exchange that happened?
Objection, hearsay.
Well, Your Honor, I believe what I'm trying to elicit is, although an out-of-court statement not offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted, I believe that any sort of threats that the shooter may have made are not statements that are capable of being true or false for purposes of rule against hearsay, and they're admissible to show the overall climate of what happened in that store and what was going through people's heads.
I think we got that to answer some objection. I mean, I heard, although most of it was historic, but I could hear check the temperature of what was going on in the store.
Your Honor, there is one particular comment, though, that I believe Mr. Bowden would testify to that is not necessarily clearly audible in the exhibit, from what I can tell. If the court could perhaps hear him out and maybe take that under advisement.
I'll take that under advisement.
Okay. And Mr. Bowden, did you hear the shooter at some point make any sort of specific threat to anybody?
Yes.
And what was that specific threat that you heard?
The specific threat is that if you don't open that door, I'm gonna kill everybody in here.
And do you remember at what point in time the shooter made that threat during the overall sequence of events that happened? Was it before the shooting?
Yes.
Okay. Was it Do you remember the shooter throwing something at the window, at the glass at some point?
Yes,
Do you remember whether that threat was before or after that specific incident?
it was after.
Okay. Do you remember where the shooter was standing when he made that specific threat?
He was standing right in front of the glass partition.
In front of the glass?
The clerk was behind.
Okay. And sir, I just want to show you just a sort of still shot of what's been admitted as People's Exhibit 2. Your Honor, if I may briefly publish again, I'm showing the file that's indicated as the event file, People's Exhibit 2, at a timestamp of 03 hours, 7 minutes and 34 seconds. Mr. Bowden, are you able to see the screen up there?
Yes.
Okay. You see the individual depicted with the looks like a gray hoodie.
Yes.
Do you know who that individual is? Okay. And can you describe what happened during the course of the shooting itself?
During the course of the shooting. Well, after he made the threat, after he, can you repeat that once again?
At some point, the shooter opened fire. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what happened at that point?
People started running.
What did you do once he opened fire?
Once he started shooting, once he shot the first guy, I realized he shot him. I laid on the floor by the door.
Okay, and why did you do that?
Because I knew bullets was going everywhere. I hope it wouldn't hit me.
Okay, did any bullets hit you?
Yes.
Where did they hit you?
They all in my bullets, all in the back, legs and stuff, and in my buttocks.
Okay, how many gunshot wounds did you suffer as a result of the shooting?
3 or 4.
Okay.
I got like 5 or 6 holes in me because I guess they went through each leg, some of the bullets.
And before the shooting, as you're inside the store, did you have any reason to fear that things were going to escalate toward violence?
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure, but you know that when arguments escalate, if you turn it to anything, I got kind of worried about it.
Okay. And I guess on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, how intense did you feel the situation was before the shooting happened?
I think I watched it build up to me to about 8 or something before the shooting started, because I was getting kind of worried after the store clerk would let me out. You know, and I seen everything. I seen one thing, I seen him arguing with one person into the next. So kind of like made me feel uncomfortable about that.
And sir, what was the very first point at which you saw any firearm in that store?
After he made the threat about putting everyone in there.
Okay. Did you see the firearm on him in any particular location?
No.
Okay. How did you? I guess can you describe how it is you first came to see the firearm? Where was it?
When I first saw the firearm, he had it raised up in the front of the guy's face.
Okay, so that was right before the shooting?
Yes.
Okay. And, sir, I just have to ask, for background, purposes, is it true that you have some, prior, convictions for, larceny-related offenses?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and, is it true that you have, some 2016 convictions out of Macomb County, for, fraudulent use of a transaction device, a financial transaction device, identity theft, and larceny?
Yes, sir.
And is it also true that you have a 2019 conviction for unarmed robbery out of Oakland County
Yes, sir.
and a 2020 conviction for larceny out of Oakland County
Yes, sir.
and a 2019 conviction for larceny out of Wayne County?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. No further questions.
Cross-examine.
Good morning, so Mr. Bowden.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bowden, that you were at that gas station approximately 3 o'clock in the morning.
I was.
Prior to getting to the gas station, had you had anything to drink that evening?
No, sir.
You didn't have any alcohol?
No, sir.
Okay. After you were shot, did you go to the hospital?
Yes, sir.
Now, you indicated that there was a shooter in the case who ultimately made a threat, correct? Strike that. That was a poor question. Let me ask it this way. The shooter was arguing with the clerk of the gas station, correct?
Yes, sir.
There came a point in time when the shooter threw a juice or a juice container at the glass or the bulletproof glass, correct?
Yes,
Or
sir.
security glass, correct?
Yes.
And that juice broke, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and there were 2 other patrons in the gas station close in proximity, to where that juice broke, correct?
Yes, sir.
And one of the patrons actually got hit with the juice, correct?
Yes.
And he was upset about that, correct?
Yeah.
And he started to confront the shooter, correct?
Yes.
Okay, he called the shooter a girl, correct?
I don't know if this would be called, I'm not sure if we call it, I know this for sure, he was just asking, why would you throw something up against the partition when you know it's going to splash you?
But more than just saying something, he took a step at the shooter, correct? And the other individual got in between the shooter and the guy that was hit with the juice.
I'm really not sure about that transaction that you say happened between them. I was like,
Judge, may we play back to the correction?
Okay, Your Honor, and I'm going to publish the event video starting at 3 hours and 8 minutes.
That's some bullshit, bro. You ain't even jumping with nobody, nigga. You stole, bro. You on bullshit. Hey, man, you can't do that, bro. You can't. Let me out the store and kill you. Bro, get killed. Let me out the store. Okay, you're tripping, bro. I'm just trying to have you pay me. No problem. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna come out, man. My boss is over the world. Yeah, bro. Stop, but yeah. I'm just talking about it. Bro, I'm just talking about it. Let me the fuck out, nigga. You don't know that.
That's the shooter throwing the juice,
Yes.
correct? Okay, now I want you to watch what happens right after, correct?
Run to the car before you get one in your head.
Now, Mr. Bowden, after the juice was thrown, the guy in the green shirt who was actually ended up getting killed, he confronted the shooter, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, on a couple occasions, immediately when the glass or the juice was thrown, correct?
Yes.
And then later, after the shooter stepped away from the glass, the gentleman in the green who ended up getting killed started walking towards and having interactions with the shooter before he shot, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you indicated that you heard a threat when the shooter pulled out his gun, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and when he pulled out his gun, there was really no delay between him pulling it out and just starting to shoot up the place, correct?
Yes.
And in fact, you got hit with a few of those shots.
Yes.
Okay, I have nothing else.
Can you reiterate?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You may step down.
Your Honor, this time the people called David Winston.
Good morning, sir. Please step forward, give your name and spelling to the young lady seated over here. Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you, sir. Please have a seat in the witness box right next to me. Have you told that in your life to speak directly into that microphone for us, okay? You may begin when you're ready.
Sir, could you please state and spell your first and last name for the record?
DAVIDLANGSTO.
Sir, I want to take you back to the early morning hours of May 6th of this year. On that particular day, did you happen to find yourself at the gas station at 12800 McNichols? And sir, that morning, when you went to that gas station, were you alone or were you with somebody else?
I was with my best friend,
And what's the name of your best friend?
Gregory Kelly.
Okay. And is Mr. Kelly still with us?
Who was that?
Sir, and I just want to have you look at the video that is published on the screen as People's Exhibit 2. Do you see the individual on the video? And this is for the record timestamp, 3 hours, 9 minutes, and 32 seconds. Do you see the individual wearing the light blue hoodie?
Yeah, that's me.
That's you? Okay. And directly next to you on the left, the individual in the green shirt with stripes, who's that?
That's my brother, Gregory.
That's Gregory Kelly. What brought you and Mr. Kelly to the gas station that morning?
We were just getting some cigarettes and some bullets.
Okay. And were the two of you alone or were you with anybody else?
We have a female in the car with us.
Okay. Did she go into the gas station with
She stayed in the car.
When you got inside, did you happen to notice any other people inside the store?
Yeah, so we walked right in. There was already an altercation going on. So, yeah.
Okay. And as that kind of altercation played itself out, how intense would you say it got?
Real intense. Bad.
Did you at any point try to leave the store?
The door wasn't unlocked yet, so we couldn't leave. When we walked towards the door, it was still locked.
Okay, did you try to open the door?
The door was still locked. When we walked towards the door here, before we got
Okay.
shot, the door was still locked.
Well, what I'm asking is, at some point during the incident, did you try to leave the store?
Right after you walked from the counter, yeah. You walked towards the door. You walked towards the door first, and I came followed.
Okay, when you say here, you're referring to Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Okay, and so, I guess, is it fair to say the two of you tried to leave, but you weren't able to?
Trying to leave, correct. Trying to leave, but
Okay. Did the two of you try to leave the store?
yes, we tried, but we got shot.
Were you able to leave the store?
No, I wasn't able to leave the store inside. I got shot.
Other than because you were shot, was there any other reason you weren't able to leave the store?
The door was locked.
To the best of your recollection, do you recall hearing anybody inside the store making any sort of specific threats?
Yes, I did.
And was it just one person making threats or multiple people?
One person,
And who was the person that made threats?
Samuel.
Would that be the shooter that you're referring to? Okay. Did you know him at all before this incident?
We don't know.
And what sort of threats did you hear him make?
Objection, hearsay.
I heard him say, "You don't shoot everybody if you don't lock the door."
If you could withhold your answer until we deal with the objection. But again, Your Honor, the people's position is that an out-of-court statement that constitutes a threat is not, it's just not hearsay. It's categorically not hearsay. It's not like he's saying the shooter said the sky is blue, or the shooter said he had a 9mm. He's going to indicate that the shooter made a specific threat. A threat is not a statement that's capable of being true or false. It's not a statement that I'm offering for the truth or falsity of the statement. I believe that generally a threat is going to qualify as an excited utterance or present sense impression that would be carved out of the rule of hearsay.
Mr. Nunn?
Judge's hearsay, it isn't a present sense impression. Also, I mean, they're using it, they're going to use it if the court allows it for the truth of the matter asserted in the statement.
Although I think there's an easier way to do it than that. Based on what I saw People's Exhibit 2, this was a very inciting occurrence. People there was particularly the person, Mr. McCray. We know that Mr. McCray was very excited, very angry. I think this qualifies as excited utterance.
Thank you. And again, Mr. Langston, in terms of any specific threat that you heard the eventual shooter say, what was that threat, if you recall?
He said he don't shoot everybody here. He didn't lock the door.
And do you remember at what point during the overall sequence of events that he said that?
He said it right before he shot us, but there was a lot of yelling going on. So everybody was yelling. All was yelling at the car to let us out. And he made that threat. We just trying to get out. Shoot us with nothing. I turned around and said, "Hey man, what got nothing to do with this? Don't shoot us." Like,
And when you heard him say that, do you remember where he, as in the eventual shooter,
he was still standing at the door. I'm sorry. He was still standing at the door when he said it.
Okay, do you remember where you were positioned when he said that?
I was at the counter. Yeah.
And do you remember at some point something being thrown by somebody in the store?
I ain't gonna get thrown.
Okay.
Not that I know of. I was at the register, turned around, started getting shots.
If you took a look at the video, do you think that could help refresh your recollection as to what happened. And Your Honor, if I could just publish and to publish at 3.
Okay, you said you're gonna publish it 308 what?
30837.
Okay, thank you.
And sir, during that brief portion that I just played, were you able to see that?
Okay, a lot going on. There's a lot of yelling.
Did you see something get thrown during that?
We didn't see that get thrown. I ain't seen that get thrown. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember seeing that again? And do you remember something being thrown?
I mean, now that I see it, yeah, it's my first time seeing it.
Okay. The specific threat that you testified about, the shooter making, do you remember whether that happened before or after this part of the video that you just watched?
It had to be after. It had to be after. That until he was angry, kind of.
At some point, did it come to your attention that the shooter was potentially armed with a handgun?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it when I walked in.
Okay. And
I saw it already. I already saw it.
Can you describe what exactly you saw when you walked into the store?
I saw it black. He had it on his hip. I saw it. The shirt was up, so I saw it a little bit. That's how he had it down.
Okay. And sir, can you describe during the course of the shooting, did you sustain any injuries?
Yes, I did.
And how were you injured?
He shot me 3 times.
And where were you shot?
My hand and my side and my back.
Okay. And did you get treated for those wounds at a hospital?
Say it again.
Did you get treated for those wounds at a hospital?
Yeah, I had surgery to get the blood removed out of my hand.
At what point in time were you able to leave the store?
After the Clerk unlocked the door and let the shooter up.
Okay. And was that before or after the shooting?
I played dead so he could stop shooting. So once I heard that click to the door, I knew he unlocked the door.
Okay. And so when is the very first point in time that you came to know that the door was unlocked during all of this?
I heard the bell. The gas has got the bell and you open, you hear the ding. So you heard the bell, I heard that, and that's when I got up.
Okay. And that would have been after the shooting?
That's after the shooter ran out, after he unlocked the door.
Before the shooting, as this was unfolding, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, how intense would you say the situation felt to you?
10. It got really intense. It got bad. So
during the disagreements that was going on with the shooter, did you come to have an understanding of what the disagreement was about?
yeah, I already knew what it was about when we walked in.
And what was your understanding of what it was about?
The Clerk said he was stealing.
Okay. And did you do anything to try to help out with the situation?
We tried. Go ahead, be on. Go ahead, don't do nothing to us. Yeah, he already had it made up in his mind, it seemed like.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I don't have any further questions.
Is that Mr. Langston, how are you related to Mr. Kelly?
My best friend.
Okay. And you two were hanging out before you went to the gas station, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and you were at like some Cinco de Mayo party?
No, it wasn't a party, it was just simply Mayo's, but they doing Southwest.
Okay. And had you been drinking before you went to work?
Excuse me.
Had you been drinking before you
Yeah,
went
we
to work?
had,
Did you have a lot to drink?
excuse me.
Did you have a lot to
Yeah,
drink? Okay, were you feeling the effects of the alcohol?
not at that moment.
Okay. Did Mr. Kelly have a lot to
Both.
drink? Okay. When you were at the gas station, I believe you testified that you saw that there was a female with you, correct?
I saw she was with us. She was in the car.
She was in
She
the
didn't
car.
come in with us.
Okay. After the shooting, did you stay on the scene or did you go get medical treatment?
I mean, I was on the scene for a minute, but I was trying to fight him. So the police were trying to handcuff me, so I ran from the scene, left him to my aunt's house to get assistance.
Okay, so you went to your auntie's house?
Yes, I ran a mile and a half away to get some assistance. The police officer was late to my phone, so I could call my family.
Okay, but whose car was there at the station?
Regular stuff.
Okay, so the car stayed at the station?
Yeah.
And the female just left from the station?
No, they handcuffed the female because she wouldn't leave his body. Yeah, that's why they put her in handcuffs and put her in the car because she didn't want to leave him right there.
Okay. Do you know this female's name?
Her name is T.
Did you know her last name?
Don't know her last name, but her name is T.
Okay. Now, you testified to some threats that you say were correct. At 6 o'clock in the morning that day, did you give a statement to the police?
Yes, I'm sure I did.
Okay. Did you tell the police about any threats that you heard the shooter make? In your written statement?
Excuse me.
In your written statement, you did that?
I didn't write anything, but he did. He only made one mistake. He only made one threat.
He only made one
One
threat
threat.
the whole time he was there.
To me, I'm gonna shoot everyone in here if you don't unlock the door. That's a threat.
Okay. Did he ever say, "I'm gonna kill you" to the clerk?
So,
He never said that over and over?
he said, you're gonna shoot my best friend in the head if you call him the B word again.
He said he.
Gregory.
Yeah, because he was
Well,
angry.
he wasn't talking to him though. He thought he called him the B word. He only said, let us about this. And then he started shooting.
Okay, sir. It's back on the side.
Which,
The shooter was getting angry, obviously, in the location, correct? He was angry when you walked in, correct?
he was already mad.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And you said when you came in, you saw him have a gun underneath his, like, his shirt, right?
Yeah, I can tell you had a gun on.
Okay. And you're in the station for a few minutes and the station door gets locked, correct?
He wasn't there a few minutes. It was more like some seconds.
So you're just saying you were in there a few seconds?
So he walked in, he locked the door, and they got to arguing because he accused him of stealing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever physically try to leave while the door was locked?
No.
Okay. Did you ever put your hand on the door to confirm that the door was locked?
We just heard the lock click.
Okay. So you're assuming by the sound that the door was locked the whole time until after the shooting, right?
No, Samuel was already trying to get out. That's how we knew the door was locked already.
Okay. After Samuel, the shooter, tried to get out, did you or Mr. Kelly try to get out before the shooting?
And we walked to the door. So yeah, before the shoot, we walked to the door.
But neither one of you tried to exit, correct?
No, we did.
Okay. There comes a point in time when the shooter throws a juice at the security glass, correct?
I saw that, yeah.
Okay. And Mr. Kelly got angry about that, correct?
It didn't look like he got it.
Well, did he confront the shooter?
He didn't. It don't like he said anything to him. He was trying to get out.
Okay. My question to you, sir, is after the juice hit the security glass, did Mr. Kelly confront the shooter about that?
Not that I recall.
Okay, well, why don't we show you the video to see if that refreshes your memory?
I never saw it. This is my first time seeing it, so.
No, I'm asking you about your recollection.
I understand.
See if the video helps refresh your memory.
Your Honor, I'm going to start publishing the video. The specific timestamp is 3 hours, 8 minutes, and seconds.
Get me out the store! Okay, I'm tripping, but I'm just trying to hate. I'm not gonna win. I'm gonna come out, man. My boss not having to work. Yeah. I don't give a fuck about it. I don't give a fuck. I'm handling this business. Let me get the fuck out, nigga. You don't know that. Bro. Look at me. Look at me. Bro. Look at me.
Now, Mr. Kelly, or Mr. Langston, after the juice was thrown, actually, you walked towards the shooter and was having words with him.
Right. I was trying to excuse the situation.
Okay, but then after that, Mr. Kelly walked towards him, correct? And you got in between the two.
Well, yeah.
Okay, to pull him away, correct? Okay.
Basically.
Yeah, and then there was the incident at the door where the shooter, whether it's true or not, thought that Mr. Kelly called him a bitch, right? Okay,
He thought.
and then right after that is
I
when
tried to go like, man, he started shooting.
he started shooting right
I
there.
already was trying to talk to him already, like, man, I was already trying to calm everything down. I'm not like that.
I understand, but my question to you is, when the shooter thought, whether or not it's true, that Mr. Kelly called him a bitch, that's when immediately it went off.
It went off.
Okay, and that's when, is that right before it immediately went off, is that when he made the threat?
No, he made a threat before it went off. Yeah.
About how much sooner, right in close proximity, correct?
3 seconds after, yeah. After he said the last words, tell us about this bitch. Yeah.
Okay. And then 3 seconds after
He
he
started
made the
shooting.
threat.
I tried to say, hey man, and he started shooting.
May I approach the witness line? Okay. Mr. Langston, you indicated that when you were at the police station, or the police may have come to you, sorry, that you gave them a statement, correct? And you were being
Yes.
completely truthful with them, correct?
I mean, at that moment, yeah.
Okay.
But I was drinking.
Okay. There was an officer writing down what you were saying, correct?
I believe so.
Okay. Is that statement in your handwriting or someone else's?
No, it's not mine, right?
Okay. Is that your signature, Tom?
Yeah, that's my signature. Right?
Okay. Before you sign that, did the officer say, you know, like, read this and make sure it's true?
Right.
Make sure it's complete?
Right.
Okay. Is there anything in your written statement where you say that you saw a gun on the shooter when you walked in the station?
So it's not on here.
Okay. Is there anything in your written statement where you tell the officer before the shooting, the shooter said, "Don't let me out of here, I'm gonna shoot everyone in here," or words to that effect?
Yeah,
That's in your written statement?
yes.
Where at?
I had a couple police officers come get statements from me when I was in hospital. So yeah. I was like, not my stuff at the moment, but I just know what was going on. So I don't even see it on here.
So it's not in that written statement?
Right.
Okay. And one of the things for sure by your testimony, there was only one threat that you heard while you were in the station to kill anyone, and that was by the shooter when he said, "I'm gonna kill everyone in here if the clerk doesn't let me out."
He said he's gonna shoot everyone.
He was gonna shoot everyone if the clerk didn't let him out.
Right.
Before that, he never threatened to kill or shoot anyone,
Well,
right?
there was so much going on. Yeah. It's a bunch of yelling.
That's all I have, Judge.
I don't deal with
May I approach?
all that yelling.
Can you redirect, Mr. Nelson?
No, Your Honor.
Sir, let me ask you this. You said that you knew the door was locked because you heard it click. Is that right?
Yes. And when you walked in, I heard it click,
Did you see anyone else trying to get out?
just to shoot.
You saw the shooter trying to get out, and was he able to get out?
No, the door was locked.
The door was locked. And is that the reason you didn't even try to get out yourself?
Because we knew we couldn't get out already, he wasn't making a threat, the door was locked. He could have left.
Did you ask the clerk to let you out?
I mean, we were yelling at like, man, let us out here, run down.
How many times did you ask him to let you out?
I can't recall, but we were yelling like, man, let us out of here, like,
All right, the clerk you're referring to, do you see that person in the courtroom today?
yes, I do.
Can you point to us and tell us what he's wearing?
All black, some glasses.
Record should reflect that the witness has identified the defendant, Al Hassan Ali Ayash. The question based on my questions.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You may step.
Thank you, 911. What's the address of your emergency?
Yeah, it is 12800 West McNichols. Yeah.
What's the immediate corner first street?
Hello?
What's going on at the location?
You said, well, I can't hear you.
What's, tell me exactly what happened.
Pull my shit back. Put it back, bro. Put it back. Put it in. Nobody's paying for it.
Caller?
Put it in, bro. Pull my stuff back. Pull my stuff back, bro. Pull my stuff back. That's it. Tell them pull my stuff back. Bro, they're pulling up. Pull my stuff back. Pull my stuff back.
What's going on at the location, sir?
You can kick it, bro. They're watching you on the camera.
Hello?
They got your place.
Caller, are you there?
Bro, put
Caller,
this
are
shit
you
back.
there?
Surprise. You ain't want to pay for it. Bro, put this shit back. Put this
Operator
back.
requested to location given. Caller not responding to operator. Operator terminating call.
And Your Honor, I'm now going to publish the file on Exhibit 6 that's labeled as 12800 West McNichols, number 2.
Saturday, May 6, 2023, 03:10 and 37 seconds.
Picture 911. What's the address of your
Yeah,
emergency?
somebody got shot. 12800 West McNichols.
Who got shot?
A customer got shot.
Who shot him?
Another customer. The door's unlocked. The door's unlocked. The door's unlocked, bro. That door's unlocked.
Oh, don't worry, I'll give you Mr. Hold the line. I got units getting requested. Is the shooter still there?
No, he ran off.
Are you with the patient now?
No, he's on the ground.
Okay, where is he at? Is he in the gas station or outside?
Yes, he's in the gas station on the floor. He got shot.
How old is the patient?
We need somebody. I don't know.
I already have units requested.
To kind of lift him up.
How old do he look, sir?
Like 30.
Is he awake?
No, he's not awake. They're trying. His people are.
Is he breathing?
I don't know. I'm not outside. I can't go outside. I can't leave behind the counter.
Okay, can you look at him and see if he's breathing?
Someone is trying to help him up.
Hold the line while I get units requested. I already have units requested. Is the assailant still nearby?
Huh?
Is the assailant still nearby?
The cops are here. The cops are here.
Okay.
Your Honor, perhaps if I could ask a direct question to Sergeant Evie, and then looking at the video, the timestamp is 3:09 30 seconds. Sergeant Evie, do you see, I guess, where the defendant has his hand reached down below the cash register?
I do.
Based on your investigation, are you familiar with anything that happens to be in that area?
The button's underneath there, but efforts for me to do, I guess, a functionality test and to try to obtain some type of timestamp as to when that door may have been unlocked, which it doesn't exist. So to say at what point that door is unlocked, yes, he makes a motion with his hand towards that area, but to say he successfully unlocked the door, I can't say that.
Okay, fair enough. I guess.
Get the fuck on, get the fuck on, bro. Get the fuck on. Get the fuck on, bro. What? Let me out of here.
And I guess, Your Honor, were you able to see what you needed to see for?
I would like to play it just a little bit further because the door had to be unlocked at some point in time. So if it wasn't unlocked at the time that you just saw, it can't come back to that period, to that point in the video to show. Just play it.
Can we mark down this time though, Judge? Because I think it's important to look. It's my suggestion.
I'm sorry, Mr. Clerk.
This is at 3:09 and 45 seconds.
About 3:09 and 40 seconds, he had his hand in that area. Okay. I'd like to see if he ever goes back to that area again. The door wasn't unlocked at that point.
I understand that, but I'd also like to see the front to see if anyone, well, let's take it a step at a time.
Okay, I'm gonna resume publishing then in 3 hours, 9 minutes.
kill my brother because of you, bro. Yeah, somebody got shot 12,800 with a nickel.
Okay, Your Honor, I'm stopping at 3 hours, 10 minutes, and 44 seconds. I think by this point, somebody has left, so I can answer some of those questions.
It does. Any other questions for Sergeant Lee?
No, Your Honor, not for people.
Thank you, sir. You may stay.
Your Honor, and the people do not have any further witnesses.
Any witnesses on behalf of the defendant?
Typically, I'm not stipulated exhibit, or an exhibit we're going to stipulate to and publish it to the board. Sure. Prior to the preliminary examination today, I spoke to Mr. Elsey and asked him if he could stipulate to the police report giving the transcript of the audio recorded in the polling station just prior to the shooting, and that kind of shooting indicated that he would like to mark it as an exhibit.
Yes, Your Honor, I would agree to that. I think the transcription that was prepared of the audio.
Okay. Admitted. That be defense exhibit A?
Yes, sir.
All right.
May I approach?
Yes, please.
Judge, I prefer. I was going to ask if we could take like a couple minute recess and an opportunity to do that. Get back up.
All right. We'll resume back at 12 o'clock.
Thank you.
We are back on record on People versus Ayash. All right. Now, any witnesses on behalf of the
No, sir.
speak?
Your Honor, Your Honor, at this time, the people move for Mr. Ayash to be bound over as charged on the sole count of homicide, manslaughter, involuntary, as laid out in the complaint warrants and the post information. The specific act, the theory here is that the specific act of gross negligence is intentionally blocking the only available exit, thereby preventing Gregory Kelly from escaping a dangerous situation where an angry customer was threatening to commit an act of violence. I think that obviously this is a tragic case that arises from a very unfortunate and unique set of circumstances. I think that we're probably in agreement on almost all of the facts here, except likely the specific threat that the shooter allegedly made, that Mr. Bowden and Mr. Langston indicated that the shooter said that he would kill everyone in the store if he was not let out. I think there's a dispute to that fact. I think that largely everything else we're probably in agreement because of what's been captured on video. I want to start, that being the case, with cutting into the law, because I think the specific legal issue here that the court is going to be grappling with, I have to assume is going to be proximate causation, which is one of the elements of involuntary manslaughter. And I'm happy to address the other elements, but I think that that really gets to the heart of what the court's decision is going to be. And fortunately, there is recent case law on the very legal issue that we're confronted with here, which is whether another individual's intentional acts cut off proximate causation, or a superseding cause such that proximate causation is not met. And there is a recent published Court of Appeals opinion arising out of the Oxford shooting case that's People versus Crumbly, that it goes into very vivid detail on the legal principles. Obviously, it's a factually distinguishable case, but the legal principles of proximate causation in this context are quite vividly laid out in a way that I don't think any opinion under Michigan publication case law has done. And there's a couple of points that I want to highlight in that case, some rules of law that the Court of Appeals articulated. And one is that in assessing criminal liability for some harm, it is not necessary that the party convicted of a crime be the sole cause of that harm, only that he be a contributory cause that was a substantial factor in producing the harm. The criminal law does not require that there be but one proximate cause of harm found. Quite the contrary, all acts that proximately cause the harm are recognized by the law. And I cite that principle of law because obviously we're dealing with a situation where, I think the court can tell from the video, the primary actor that drove this tragedy here is Samuel McRae. He's the shooter, right? He's the one who took the life of Gregory Kelly directly. He's the one that shot Mr. Bowden and shot Mr. Langston. He is the primary cause. But again, the law recognizes that there can be more than one cause. There can be more than one actor that is recognized as a cause of a particular harm such that criminal liability can attach. Another principle I think that the court articulated in that case is that an act of God or the gross negligence or intentional misconduct by the victim or a third party will generally be considered a superseding cause. And the court emphasized generally because it articulated that there's an exception to that general rule that when a third party intervenes in an act with intentional conduct, there's an exception to the rule that that third party is always therefore the sort of the sole proximate cause, if you will. And what the court went on to say is that the linchpin in the superseding cause analysis is whether the intervening cause was foreseeable based on an objective standard of reasonableness. If it was reasonably foreseeable, then the defendant's conduct will be considered a proximate cause. And so that is the real guidepost that I think is at the center of this case. Based on the circumstances here, based on what the defendant did, which was lock the door in this very volatile situation, was it reasonably foreseeable that some type of harm would occur? The type of harm that we're confronted with, where unfortunately a man lost his life. That's really the guiding principle here. And I want to discuss why I believe that by at least a probable cause standard, that the people have satisfied that the unfortunate result here was reasonably foreseeable. But I want to highlight one other point of law first that is in the Crumbly opinion. And that is that the court went on to describe a number of prior cases where the Court of Appeals or the Supreme Court has found that a superseding or intervening cause was sufficient to cut off causation, sufficient to make the defendant not criminally liable for something. And the court noted that in each of these cases, there was no connection between the defendant and the intervening cause. They were separate and distinct from one another, which naturally led to the argument that the intervening cause was the superseding one. And the court went on to recognize that in the Crumbly case specifically, it said the defendant's actions and inactions were inexorably intertwined with the shooter's actions, i.e. the intervening cause. The connection exists not simply because of the parent-child relationship, but also because of the facts showing that the defendants were actively involved in the shooter's mental state, remaining untreated, that they provided him with the weapon used to kill the victims, and that they refused to remove him from the situation that led directly to the shootings. So I think what the court was trying to say there is when you have a defendant that is in some way driving the third party's conduct, the third party that's committing the intentional act, that creates a relationship such that when the defendant and the third party become intertwined, the defendant becomes inherently responsible for that third party's conduct. And that's what we have here, because this is tantamount to, it's like a fire erupted in that store. And the defendant's reaction was not only to lock the customers inside that store, but to essentially pour gasoline on the fire. I mean, you can hear him throughout the course of the video essentially provoking Mr. McRae, escalating the situation. And I think it's by that escalation that his actions become intertwined with the shooters and that contribute to him being a proximate cause of the eventual death that happened. And there are a couple of points that I want to raise in the video. And I know we agreed to admit the summary that was contained in the investigator's report. And I think that based on all that's going on in the video, I think you could probably listen to it 1,000 times and you're going to hear something different each time because there's different voices being heard. There's a lot going on. But I think you can see that toward the beginning of this encounter between Mr. McRae and the defendant, I hear at 3 hours, 4 minutes, and 23 seconds, Mr. McRae says something effective. He's acting stupid as fuck right now. And the defendant's response is, bro, you're being slow right now. And then there's some exchange. And then shortly thereafter that, and this is at 3 hours, 5 minutes, and 5 seconds, Mr. McRae starts throwing some items. And the defendant's response to that, he says over and over, 3 times that I counted, we got a bad man, we got a bad man, we got a bad man. At that point, Mr. McRae says, stop acting stupid before I act around and fuck the store up. I'll kill you.
Where are you reading this at? I don't see that.
This is from, this is not contained in the summary, but this is my own summation of the video.
Oh, I see.
So at this point, Mr. McRae says, come out here and get your brains on the floor. Shut up before I put your brains on the floor. And the defendant's response to that is, I ain't worried about you. I ain't worried about you. I ain't give a fuck. Mr. McRae appears to say something to the effect of, I can take this shit. And this is when the door appears to lock. It's at 3:05 and 24 seconds. And the defendant says, and at this point in the video, you can see him pressing the area of the lock. The defendant says, you ain't taking shit. I can lock you in this bitch. And then he says, where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Dumbass, you ain't taking shit. You ain't taking shit. You ain't taking shit. He says, I'll smoke your goofy ass. I'll smoke your goofy ass. And so right there, when he's physically locking the door, he's doing it at a moment where he is unnecessarily escalating the situation with an individual who's already threatened violence from him. Violence against him. Now, I don't think there's any indication at this point that Mr. McRae has threatened violence against anybody else in the store. But you're dealing with a clearly unhinged individual who's threatening to kill you, and his response is to lock these three other people inside the store with this individual while he is behind the relative comfort of the glass counter. And at that point, Mr. McRae says something to the effect of, come around and I'll put your brains on the floor. Let me out of the store before I kill you. Let me out of the store before you get killed. Let me out of the store before you get killed. He says that repeatedly, and this is around 3:05 and 50 seconds, somewhere in there. And while this is going on, the defendant's response is to keep saying, put my shit back, put my shit back, put my shit back, bro. He says that probably close to a dozen times, continuing to escalate the situation. He gets on the phone. With 911, with the 911 operator, and you can hear him on the phone. The operator essentially hangs up on him after 1 minute and 30 seconds because he's not responsive, because he's continuing to escalate the situation. And you can hear him say, put it back, put my stuff back, put my stuff back. So again, the concern here is this $3.80 worth of merchandise, not human lives that are locked inside the store with a volatile customer. Now, as this continues to escalate, and I believe this is overheard on the 911 call too, Mr. Ayash says, they watching you on the cameras, they got your plates, put the shit back, put the shit back, put the shit back. Now, it's at this point in the video that, and just to be clear, there is no point in the video where it's clearly audible that the shooter says, if you don't unlock the door, I'm going to kill everybody. But it's at this point in the video where I believe the best case is to be made that he said that, and I just want to publish that point specifically. And I'm back on the event file on People's Exhibit 2, and I'm going to move to .308 and 308.
Man, you're some bullshit, bro. You ain't even jumping with nobody, nigga. You're so, bro. You don't push. Hey, man, you can't do that, bro. You can't.
Right as you can see Mr. McRae walk to the door there, he says something effective, let me out the store, I'm going to kill, and I can't hear I can't hear exactly what's said after that, but it and just to be clear, I think the bigger question is, well, could Mr. Ayashi have heard that from his vantage point? But
Man, you're some bullshit, bro. You ain't each other with nobody, nigga. Not so, bro. You don't push. Hey, man, you can't do that, bro. You can't.
I want to make sure I capture what he's saying.
Nobody, nigga. Not so, bro. You don't push. Hey, man, you can't do that, bro. You can't. No, you're not so killing. You might get killed. Get me out the store, okay?
I think it's after that first let me out the store, I'm going to kill. It sounds like he could have said, I'm going to kill everybody. I can't really hear it, but I think that does lend at least some credibility to the surviving victims' statements that that's what they heard. And I think it's important, even if they're wrong on what they heard, that's clearly what they thought was happening. I think that speaks more than anything. It speaks to their state of mind, that they were trapped in there and they felt like they were dealing with a situation where somebody was going to kill them if they weren't let out. So after that portion, things continue to escalate, and Mr. Ayash, for his part, keeps demanding that Mr. McRae put his shit back and pay for it. I need my shit, he says repeatedly. Put my shit back, put my shit back. At one point, and this is about 3:09 and 22 seconds, Mr. Price is at the front counter, essentially demanding the defendant to let him out. And the defendant says, tell him to put my shit back. He puts it on these other customers that have nothing to do with the shooter. He puts it on them to somehow collect on this $3.80 debt that somehow has more value than their safety to him. And I think that is a striking fact that leads to that supports the inference that he is a proximate cause of what ended up happening. Now, again, I think that based on the prior discussion that we had, and this is about 3:09 and 27 seconds. Obviously, we can't say conclusively when the door was unlocked, but I think there's a strong inference to be made that the door was unlocked at the point that the court saw in the video where Mr. Ayash is apparently pressing the button and then says, get the fuck on, and he's motioning with his hands, and that's obviously before the shooting. Now, the important part of that is, though, that based on everything that was going on in the store, nobody seems to have recognized that the door was unlocked at that point. I mean, matters had escalated. He didn't expressly say the door was unlocked, leave. He just kind of motioned with his hand and said, get the fuck on, which could mean anything in that context. I don't think that anybody took that to mean, if they even noticed it at all, took that to mean that the door was unlocked and that they were free to go. And then we have, obviously, and I don't think this is particularly probative, but I do think it's something that speaks at least minimally to consciousness of guilt. The fact that when Mr. Ayash first sat down with Sergeant Levy, that he did not volunteer the information about the door being unlocked, that he essentially had to be confronted about that. Again, I don't think that's highly probative evidence, but I do think that speaks to at least something going on in his head that he knew what he did was wrong. So, Your Honor, based on all of that, again, I don't know that there's going to be any dispute as to the other elements of involuntary manslaughter. If the court has questions about that, I'm happy to address it. But again, with my focus being proximate causation, I think based on these circumstances, where the defendant was confronted with a volatile individual who repeatedly threatened to kill him, that by locking these other innocent bystanders in there with this individual in order to protect $3.80 worth of merchandise, as things continue to spiral out of control, that it was highly foreseeable that exactly what happened could have happened, that life could have been lost. And that's why he's charged with involuntary manslaughter, and that's why I'm asking the court.
Thank you. The issue before us was causation. One of the principles of law in manslaughter cases. Please take your wisdom. Sure. One of the principles in a manslaughter case, that if this case or any manslaughter cases before a jury, the jury is told it is not enough that the defendant's act made it possible for death to occur. In order to find that the death of the decedent was caused by the defendant, you must find beyond a reasonable doubt that the death was the natural or necessary result of the defendant's act. I recognize that that's a jury instruction. But the issue here is, was the killing a natural or necessary result of Mr. Ayash's behavior in the store?
And I respectfully submit that there's no evidence that it was whatsoever. There is no doubt the whole notion of locking anyone in a store, including customers, is detestable. It shouldn't happen. And to be clear, it doesn't happen in suburban communities, and it just should not happen. But that does not make it a crime here based on the video and the evidence presented. Mr. McCrae, obviously a disturbed, agitated individual, by the law, by stealing something with the threat of force, without showing a gun, had committed an unarmed robbery, even though the value of the property was real low. We know that Mr. Ayash locked the door. We know that tensions were high within the mobile market. But we also know from reviewing the video that neither Mr. Kelly nor Mr. Langston nor Mr. Bowden were affected by I want out of here. They were just standing around the store shopping while this was all transpiring. When the door was locked, or after they discovered the door was locked, naturally they get upset, as any customer would. And Mr. McCrae is obviously becoming more and more agitated, and he throws the juice against the glass. And this is something that the prosecution completely ignored in their argument, is when Mr. Kelly threw that juice against, or not Mr. McCrae threw that juice against the glass, Mr. Kelly became upset. And he starts walking towards Mr. McCrae, confronting him, and that's when tensions escalated. Actually, before even Mr. Kelly did, Mr. Langston did. And then Mr. Kelly did, and Mr. Langston kind of separated the two. Then the video showed Mr. McCrae, Mr. Kelly up by the security glass, words were said, and that's when Mr. Kelly and Mr. McCrae were reaching each other's face and the shooting happened. Now, whether or not they heard whether the door was unlocked, there's been no showing that even unlocking the door, based on what happened between Mr. McCrae and Mr. Kelly, that Mr. McCrae wouldn't have shot him if the door was unlocked. They were involved in an altercation at that point because, according to Mr. Langston, Mr. McCrae thought Mr. Kelly called him a bitch. That is certainly not foreseeable to my client. It is certainly an intervening cause that eliminates criminal culpability. But even taking a step back, even if that hadn't occurred, that altercation hadn't occurred, this case is clearly distinguishable from the Crumbly case. In fact, a reading of the Crumbly opinion indicated a couple things. Number one, that the affirming the district court, or the trial court affirming the district court in the bindover, they said this was based on the facts of this case. And in the facts of that case, we know that Crumbly's parents put the gun in the hand of Ethan. That they knew about his mental health conditions. They knew about all the problems he was having. In fact, the Court of Appeals goes on for 3 paragraphs pointing all of that out. And they said, based on all of this, it's certainly foreseeable. There was nothing in this record to indicate that Mr. Agash knew that Mr. McCrae had a gun. There was nothing in the record that would make it foreseeable to Mr. Agash that by him taking the detestable action he did of locking people in the store, that Mr. McCrae would start shooting. And when things started escalating between the customer and Mr. McCrae, what does Mr. Ayash do? He unlocks the door to his credit and says, move on. The bottom line is there is no proximate causation here. This case should be dismissed at this level. Thank you.
Thank you both. I think you both did an excellent job. The nuts and bolts of this case boil down to whether the shooter's actions were a superseding intervening cause. We know that the defendant, who was the store clerk, so to speak, at this location, locked the patrons in after he thought that the shooter was trying to steal less than $5 worth of merchandise. Or the shooter believed that he paid for it. His card shouldn't have been declined. The defendant, however, I think exasperated the situation, provoked the shooter, got him really amped up, hyped up by telling him you're locked in or you're not going to do anything, by locking the door. The other patrons, innocent bystanders, if you will, asked to be let out of that location 3, 4, maybe 5 different times. The defendant even began to ask them to tell the shooter to put the merchandise back, put the onus on them. In no way, form, or fashion can we justify the defendant's actions in locking these people in the store. We value life over property, one, but did the defendant know or have reason to know, or should he have known that the shooter was armed and would do what he did? Well, there's some clues that were given that probably give us some insight. One, he kept threatening the defendant, telling him how he would spill his brains on the floor, that he would kill him, these kinds of things. I don't know if the defendant ever saw the shooter with the gun, however. One of the witnesses indicated that he saw him with the gun when they walked in, he saw the gun in his waistband. I don't know if that would be the case with this defendant. But the shooter made all kinds of threats to the defendant. And allegedly, both witnesses that testified here today, both civilian witnesses that testified here today, indicated that the defendant said, open the door and kill everybody in here. I didn't hear that on the video, but that video for the most part was inaudible. There was a lot that I didn't hear. There was a lot that I did. A lot of people talking at the same time. This was a very intense and heightened situation. But I think a lot of that intensity and it being so heightened is attributable to the defendant and how he handled the situation, how he continued to pour gasoline on the fire by, in some ways, even appearing as though he was mocking the shooter. I do notice, however, that the defendant did in fact unlock the door, and I'm pretty comfortable that he unlocked the door at that time that was pointed out in the video because he doesn't come back to that location anymore after the shooting. He unlocked the door, and then coupled with his words, get the F on, get the F-U-C-K on, get on, and waving his arms as to motioning him out the door. In doing so, it appears as though the shooter, as well as the deceased victim and one of the surviving victims, were walking in that direction. Some words were exchanged between the shooter and Mr. Kelly, and then the shooter pulls out a gun and starts shooting. The question I have to deal with is whether or not there is gross negligence. Was this defendant grossly negligent in heightening the situation and amping the shooter up by egging him on, so to speak, and then locking the door? If not for the fact that he locked the door, none of this would have happened. And quite frankly, he would not be sitting there if he hadn't locked the door. If he hadn't locked the door, then those men would have been able to leave at the point in time that they wanted to leave. One wanted to get to work, another one just wanted to leave. Them saying, I have nothing to do with this. Let us out. Hey man, don't shoot me. We don't have anything to do with this. So the question is, was the defendant grossly negligent in not letting them out at the time that they wanted to get out, and by exacerbating the situation by egging the shooter on, so to speak? I think that it is at least a question of fact to be determined by the trial if that is indeed the case, or if this was a superseding intervening cause by the shooter, that this was not a foreseeable event, that the shooter would go off on a tangent like he did. A rational trial of fact could find, however, that this defendant kind of pushed him to that point by refusing to let him as well as the others out of that location. Then asking him, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? He showed us what he was going to do. He did it. And as a result, Mr. Clerk Kelly is no longer with us. So the court, after hearing the testimony of Anthony Bowden, David Langston, and Sergeant Eby, as well as seeing people's exhibits 1, 2, and 3, as well as defense exhibit A, is satisfied that people have met their burden of probable cause as it relates to the charges contained in the complaint. The court finds those charges were committed in the city of Detroit. The court finds probable cause to believe this defendant committed. The defendant will be bound over to Lane County Third Circuit Court Criminal Division for further proceedings. There's a random on the information date and time will be June 20th, 2023 at 9 o'clock a.m. Are there any issues as to mine? No. We continue. Thank you. Thank you both. I think you both did an excellent job. The nuts and bolts of this case boil down to whether the shooter's actions were a superseding intervening cause. We know that the defendant, who was the store clerk, so to speak, at this location, locked patrons in after he thought that the shooter was trying to steal less than $5 worth of merchandise. Or the shooter believed that he paid for it. His card shouldn't have been declined. The defendant, however, I think exasperated the situation, provoked the shooter, got him really amped up, hyped up by telling him you're locked in or you're not going to do anything, by locking the door. The other patrons, innocent bystanders, if you will, asked to be let out of that location 3, 4, maybe 5 different times. The defendant even began to ask them to tell the shooter to put the merchandise back, put the onus on them. In no way, form, or fashion can we justify the defendant's actions in locking these people in the store. We value life over property, one, but did the defendant know or have reason to know, or should he have known that the shooter was armed and would do